Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are back to Grand Tactician, the Civil War, the new Whiskey and Lemons DLC, which adds a role-playing element to this game, where you can now play as an individual general and not command anything outside your individual general's capabilities. We are in episode number 3 of this series, which will probably be a short one. This campaign has been a little bit iffy, and I think when you're in command of such a small unit like a regiment, because this is a regimental campaign, it can be hard to really get going, although we have a decent amount of prestige now at 195. That being said, we are about to fight our third battle, so our AI at least seems to be somewhat aggressive. We fought a battle at Manassas, the initial sort of advance, in June. Then in late June, the Confederates advanced on Washington, D.C., and we lost a battle there. They took the capital before eventually withdrawing before Union reinforcements showed up and retook the capital. And now we are advancing again south toward the stone bridge at Manassas. There is a siege going on there right now. You can see Robert E. Lee is a brigadier general in this game at the moment, in command of the Army of the South, which appears to have 13,000 men. But there's additional Confederate forces nearby. The Army of the Potomac has 25,000 men. The Army of South Carolina has another 4,500 men. So it looks like the Rebs have about 45,000 men or so in the area. The Federals have the 6,000 men of the 5th Division. The Department of Washington has 5,300 men. I guess 5,300 men plus the 34,000 of the Army of Northeastern Virginia, of which it looks like the bulk of it is moving down. We've got the 1st, 4th, 2nd, 3rd Divisions. The 5th is already sort of here. And then we've got the Department of Annapolis also coming down with perhaps about 6,500 troops. And there's the 2nd Division up there. We've also got the Department of Virginia with about 4,700 troops in the vicinity. So if we get the Department of Washington's, well, I don't even know. Let's just see. We've got, it's hard to keep track of everything here, but 6,000, 15. Oh, that's a strong division. 18,000 men in that division. I think only 11,000 are there right now. Oh, this is the Department of Pennsylvania. Okay, so in theory, 11,000, I think. Yeah, so like we've got, I don't know, I can't do math, guys. Depending on what all comes to the front and fights, we may be about to have a decent sized battle as a regimental commander, where hopefully things go our way. We currently have 155 prestige. I saw someone say you can like take units over with that or command like more units in a battle. I'm not sure where to do that. Oh, I can change my cap. Hell yeah. Why am I using a forge cap? What cap should I wear? I'm a good old fashioned regimental officer, so I'm not using a kepi. That's strange. We could use a shako. That's more of a Mexican-American war. A black felt hat that gives some cover. We could be a black hat fella. We don't have like the nice sort of cavalry fine black hat yet. We don't get that, I don't think, until we're a brigade commander. So maybe just a simple black hat. I assume that'll increase my prestige a little bit more. Or maybe not. I didn't actually see if it increased it or not. But in any event, we purchased that. So we got a nice little black hat to go with our blue outfit. We're currently a lieutenant colonel. But yeah, let's see what comes of this. Hopefully we're about to fight our third battle, and it might be something interesting. Also, I did just find one thing interesting out before we get started, guys. I did not know this, but apparently I had assumed you could only do this role-playing starter career mode in the Eastern Theater Regimental campaign. Apparently you can do it in all of the game's campaigns, which other than the spring 1861 one, because it's so early and no troops are raised yet. And that blew my mind. So you can do the career mode where you're an individual commander in the entire war scenarios, looking at Eastern and Western Front. The only downside is those are not regimental commands, so you have to start as a brigadier as opposed to, or I guess probably a colonel, but you're in command of a brigade, and the brigade is treated like a regiment where it's one unit as opposed to like a brigade in this campaign is 3 or 4 units. In the whole war scenario, a brigade is represented as 1 unit, similar to a regimental commander, but with more men and more firepower and whatever. That sounds fun. and what I think could be really fun. And I know I'd done a survey of like what you guys want to see next. And so about 900 people have responded. And it seems to be most people want to see a brigade command. I'm assuming because you have more units. But what I'm really intrigued of doing is an 1864 overland campaign as a brigadier. Or if I can possibly get my prestige high enough as a division commander, but I don't know if you can do that or not. But I really like the idea of like overwhelming Union force, be part of that Union army and fight through the overland campaign. Presumably Grant will be aggressive and send you down there. So I'm really intrigued by that. So just a kernel of thought. Love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments about that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get this party started as our troops are clearly moving south toward the stone bridge. Let's see if we all pile up here and fight a battle. Looks like we're still technically in a siege. Wonder if we'll engage soon. Did we just join the siege? I don't think I can do anything in siege combat. I think because sieges are generally simulated. So our troops did stack up. We got 50,000 men here. So we should win the siege. I don't think I'm going to get to do anything with it, but eventually maybe the Rebs will bring some additional resources up and we'll fight it. Or can I choose to assault? Do I control that? Yes, I do. Let's go. Sorry, Bobby Lee. You only got 13,000 men. I guess we could have waited for the Rebs to bring more reinforcements, but why do that? They already beat us once. Let's overwhelm them. Hopefully the AI can effectively command 50,000 men. I don't know if there'll be a ton for our individual regiment to do, but we'll see. As I get my troops' new uniforms, I gave them the Prussian blue rather than the sort of militia outfits they had before that were like brown. I thought they looked kind of ugly. I figure being part of a victory is more likely to yield prestige, but I don't know if that's true or not. But we'll find out soon enough. Okay, our scouts report the enemy is near Stonebridge, Virginia, and our army is prepared for battle. We're facing the Army of the South under Robert E. Lee with 15,000 men. Okay. Nathaniel P. Banks. He's the commander? I guess he's the commander of the Army of the... I don't even know what unit he commands. Department of Washington, 1st Division apparently is our best corps. Is that our corps or is that Pennsylvania? Oh, no, that's ours. Are we in the 1st Brigade? No. I don't even remember what my unit is. 2nd Brigade? No. 3rd Brigade? I thought Shanks was our commander, but I guess we're in the 3rd Brigade under Colonel Isaac Quinby right here. We've got 36-month troops. And we're not the best brigade in the outfit. Contract length 3 months, remaining 3 months. Oh, wait, I clicked on the wrong unit. Why is this? That seems bugged. I'm clicking on the 2nd Wisconsin, and it's pulling up the 69th New York. No matter what I do. Maybe that's a resolution thing, because I've got a 1400 monitor. Maybe there's some kind of optimization there. In any event. Let's just get started, shall we? Oh, turn the map. Where are we even coming on the field here? Way in the south. Okay. Am I on the field yet? Looks like I am. Sort of. Somewhere in there. Actually, maybe we're not on the field yet, and that's why I can't click on the... Oh, we're right here. So we have 452 effectives. This is no longer our first battle, so our morale is no longer hindered by the fact that they're like, oh man, I'm so nervous. It's our first battle. Morale slightly better than last time, I think at 60%. Max cap by fighting spirit, which is 60%. That's not very high. But in any event, let's get going, shall we? I'm assuming our troops will maybe not start moving. Reserve. I request your support to the 3rd Division as a reserve. Deploy the unit immediately to the rear and provide support. Okay, we can do that easily enough. Where are we going to be going, though? Oh, This isn't even anywhere near the fighting, and there's no good roads here. So that's not great from a fitness perspective, but it's already 1,400 hours in the day, so we probably won't see action in today's fight anyway. And I no longer have that objective on my map. It disappeared. So are those no longer my orders? Oh, they moved us way up. Let me over here. Oh my God, this thing keeps moving around. Hey, AI, make up your mind on where you want me. It looks like you want me to march through Newmarket, down this main road. We're on the Manassas map, but we're starting on the, it's not the Confederate side per se, because the way this game works, and it's fine, is you reuse maps for a lot of fights. So like we're fighting on the Manassas battlefield, but it reuses a lot of maps. So anything in and around the Manassas area will end up on the Manassas battlefield. And then if you get closer to like Fredericksburg, it'll use that map. If you get closer to Chancellorsville, it'll use that map. But so where you deploy the map doesn't, I don't think, necessarily matter, because often you're not actually fighting at Manassas. But it is kind of interesting that we are coming in on the side that the Confederates historically held, and the Confederates are on the Union side. At least from the direction the armies are approaching from, that's a little bit backwards. But again, it's somewhat randomized. For a system like this, for a big campaign game like this, I think that's a reasonable compromise. Looks like the Rebs are up near Sudley Spring. I bet we don't even get to our objective before they rush down there, since it is a level 10 objective, which is kind of more valuable than any of the other objectives on the map. So we probably won't get there. Looks like there's a whole bunch of other federal troops out ahead of us. We are not in the van, as far as I can tell. We're just kind of bunched up here with everybody else. So on we go. And again, it's going to be nightfall before these 50,000 men get into action anyway. So I'm not too worried about the disruption right now, because presumably overnight we'd be able to get that back. Also, interestingly enough, looks like there is a second force moving across Blackburn's Ford over here on the right. I don't know if it's one of the other, they're the Department of Washington, so it's a division of about 5,000 men. So they're flanking to the right, possibly coming up toward these rear objectives maybe, or maybe going to come back across the Stone Bridge. Looks like we've got another force utilizing this major roadway here to the left. This would be what force? 5th Brigade, 2nd Division. Where's the head commander here? Doesn't look like he's part of a second army. It just looks like there's maybe a division worth of troops. 4 brigades. I don't see anyone above a brigade command, though. Interesting. So they're moving off to the left, and then we've got this additional force moving down the center. And then it does look like there's almost like a division just sitting in reserve up. They're deploying now up this main road. So we've got a lot of congestion on this middle road here. Slowly, this army is definitely strung out. I do like that the AI is apparently sending troops down multiple avenues of advance. That feels realistic to avoid congestion. Probably could have sent more troops off this main road. These other side roads look less congested. And congestion definitely influences how quickly you can move, definitely influences fatigue. You can see my troops, despite marching in column on a road, are fragmented. And that's because we're stuck in this absolute log jam of a march. So I like that. That's a nice little feature. Some of these guys are going cross lots, which probably makes sense also just in terms of speed. Obviously, there's some movement penalties, but these guys moving across open fields when the roads are all blocked up, again, reasonably smart. But we're trying to get up to the objective. I don't think we will before the end of the day. Let's go ahead and move things up to times 20. The orders kind of keep shifting back and forth between southwest of the objective and on the objective. But we'll just keep marching up that main road. Some troops are breaking off to the left. Our path appears to be up this main road, straight up the middle. Hey, diddle diddle, right up the middle. So they are, again, they're dividing. One of the things you have to keep in mind when you do divide your force like the AI is doing here, though, is that all orders actually travel by courier, which is a pretty neat little feature. But what that means is if you're in command of an army and you're trying to issue orders to units of yours that are strung out on different roads, it can take the courier quite a long time to get there. Alternatively, it can, oh, now it wants me to go here. Okay, well, I'm going to do that because it looks like the Rebs have taken that objective, so we don't need to march all the way up that way. Might even want to halt. Oh, no, it adjusted our route. But yeah, so it might result in orders taking much longer to get there. Alternatively, orders might not even arrive at all. They could get intercepted by enemy forces, and you might not actually have a path to get your courier to where you want them. So those are things to consider. Looks like the Rebs are deploying on the unfinished railroad. This is a little bit like Second Manassas, actually, with the Rebs lining up on this map, or on this unfinished railroad here, which is kind of how Second Manassas unfolded. They've got a nice position here. Props to the AI. They've got a brigade and double line here on this main roadway. It links up with a couple of regiments to guard its flank, and looks like some artillery over here. And then it looks like they got another brigade, or maybe a division, at least 5 regiments on the unfinished railroad here. So a 3rd division's under attack by the enemy. My brigade's on the march to support our boys. Take your troops to the stated position. So now you want me to go back over here. Okay. I do know that changing orders and confusion was a thing that happened. I do think maybe the game does a little bit too much, because now I got to march this way, right in front of some Rebs. Probably be better to double back. Although I haven't even gotten to this crossroads yet, so I guess we're stuck on this roadway. But yeah, we're just going to go straight in, so that makes sense. All right, so there's just a couple of regiments engaged here. It looks like we've got 2 or 3 regiments engaged with the lead rebel detachment, just some skirmishers. So we've got full-on regiments, the 8th New York, 39th, and 29th New Yorks, engaging just a lone detachment of skirmishers. Those skirmishers are taking heavy losses, as you would think when you've got over, what, like 1,500 muskets arrayed against 70 men. The Rebs do have the advantage of cover, but the fighting sounds worse than it is at this point. Those troops on those flanking marches have not really made enough progress to come up. By the way, in one of the previous battles, the Rebs did this as well, and they marched in like behind our lines, so that was pretty neat to see. Although we were on the wrong side of it. 1900 hours, it's got to almost be sunset. I'm not sure exactly what time it is, or what time sunset is, but it's got to be close. We are in the middle of summer, so it's a little bit later in the day before the sun goes down, but we're not going to get into this battle today. One of my complaints with the AI in the base game is that sometimes it abandons its strong positions based off of initial reactions to where your troops are. It seems like maybe the Rebs are doing that. I can't tell if they abandoned the right flank here. We've got a lot of dust moving here. So it seems like they might be moving troops in along this fence line, which, again, with a division now approaching here on this left, makes sense to sort of buff your line out. But it seems perhaps ill-advised because they presumably see the dust of these troops coming up as well. Someone mentioned taking control of other units in a battle. How do you do that? Oh, you can take over command. To follow your lead and coordinate. So I have to spend 88 prestige to take another regiment over. So I can actually become a de facto brigade commander by using prestige to take over other units' command. But it's temporary, right? So we spend prestige to get other regimentals to listen to us, which is not that unhistorical. What I mean by that is, like at Gettysburg, for example, Gouverneur Warren was up on Little Round Top. He was an engineer on Meade's staff. He had no direct authority to take over units, but he would ride off to find other units to try and help get troops up to Little Round Top. And despite the fact that units were not necessarily in his command, some of them would listen to him. So that's kind of historical. Like, your relationships with your other officers might get them to follow you. That's a lot of prestige to spend, though. But it would certainly be preferable to having 400 troops and no other influence. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to wait and see what's around me when the next day's fight starts, because it is almost nightfall. Like with the Rebs moving into position here, if they didn't put any troops, and they might have put troops back here that we just can't see yet, but if they didn't put any troops back there, they just turned their flank to me. It probably gave them a slight advantage against these lead regiments here, but they're shifting some cavalry to the right, perhaps, to refuse that line. But yeah, where are we here? 2nd Wisconsin. Here we are. We're moving up the roadway. We're soon to be engaged, but I can't imagine the battle's going to continue past 8 o'clock. It's pretty dark already. All right, first things first. Our troops have got to be tired. They've been marching all day. So I get 10 prestige just for arriving on location, but if I'm doing this all alone, well, this is perhaps unwise. Let's see if we get ourselves wiped out. Looks like we're just out of range of those troops on this fence line over here. So they have kind of refused their line here with the right wing extending out here. I'm not in good position after all of that marching to fight either. My morale's down to 43. We're basically out here all exposed, all by our lonesome. But I just want to get there before nightfall so I can accomplish my orders and give me a little more prestige. Especially if I'm going to end up spending a bunch of it. There we go, plus 20. Nice. That's a quarter of an enemy unit. Or a friendly unit taking command. This could be a little Jacksonian. We could have a little bit of a Chancellorsville situation here. If there's really no enemy troops up this way, we could advance in on the enemy flank. Some artillery just opened up on those Rebs too. Looks like we're getting some troops into position here. Some artillery over here, the 1st U.S. Artillery still costs quite a pretty penny. Can't tell if there's musketry coming from this wood line. Oh, there's definitely musketry here. We're in a wood, so that helps. But our morale is not very good. When is nightfall? Dear God, it's almost 9 o'clock. The other problem is if nightfall does come with our position where we are, that kind of leaves us a little bit exposed. We're a little bit out on an island in terms of supply. So we're getting prestige for casualties inflicted. The losses we're taking are not too bad. Looks like our morale is going up at the moment. Okay, there we go. End of day. Plus 3. Troops resupplied. We didn't get... I don't know that we got anything. Are we still here? Or did we move? Looks like we moved. So the army commander moved us. They pulled us back in the night. And it looks like the Rebs formed up again along this ridgeline. This is shaping up just like 2nd Manassas in terms of the battlefield. Again, just behind this unfinished railroad cut on this height. While our troops are forming up here. This could literally be... We have the right number of troops, too, to be with Pope's army. So we may take command of... it looks like we lost a couple of men. I think we lost 5 men in the redeployment. But yeah, plus 20 for combat zone reach, plus 8 for casualties inflicted. We're plus 28 for the battle. So I think we got to get around to 500 prestige to basically get a brigade after the battle. What are our initial orders going to be here? We're just sitting in position, in line. I don't know what the 2 of the lines. This is just a gaggle of nonsense, but these lines are in relatively good shape. All right, you want me to be a reserve over here near Dugan's Ridge, over by Grovetown? I don't know why I'm doubling over here, but I guess we're protecting the flank in the event that Longstreet comes sweeping in here. Not actually sure if Longstreet's around, but that's a 2nd Manassas reference. So we'll take that road behind our own lines. That should be a relatively easy march. So we'll follow your orders. Again, this is... Oh, crap. Deploy to engage. Our scouts report the enemy units are spotted in our area of operations. Well, there's no one here, but okay. Just don't keep changing your orders on me, thanks. I pulled out of there, I think, and now I'm going right back in. Support friendly units. Okay, you don't need to spam me with orders. Like there's a million different a million different things going on right now. So now I'm not going to that reserve spot. Now I'm pushing north, and I didn't get any. Oh, shoot. We got troops on their flank. Where are they going? Stop telling me different orders. This is a... I don't know if it's bugged, but it's... Again, some confusion with orders. That makes sense, but probably not to this extent. Holy crap. What are the Rebs doing? They just charge like troops right into this line over here on the right flank. Of like all of these federal troops. This regiment is fucked. They're launching an attack on our right flank, but it does not look like an effective attack. So, yeah. All right, get on this fence line here. Let's follow. Let's be the good soldier. Remember, our character, while we want glory, is also sort of a career army stickler for goodness. So we'll just trying to get into position there. There's 2 rebel regiments up there and now artillery. The only problem is these federal troops are just in a gaggle. Again, they deployed troops intelligently south of the river, but north of the river, it just looked like a mess. So now this is... I have no idea how this is going to play out. Hopefully our troops overwhelm them. They should, but they don't have a good firing line to get an effective advantage there. You'd think at that range with that many men and that many regiments, eventually the Rebs would break, but you can already see they broke 3 of our regiments like right off the bat. Can't imagine that battery is going to survive long at that range, but any shot they do fire is gonna do canister damage. Before we spend all of our day watching this fight, where are our troops? Are we in position? We are in position. And I get 20 more prestige for following orders. Okay. All right, it does look like some of our troops are moving up to attack. I don't know if these guys are within our chain of command. Oh, interesting. This relation between this commander and you is at 22%. Bad relations may lead to feuds and thus longer order delays and unwanted actions of subordinates. I wonder if the relationship you have also influences the prestige to convince them to join your forces, or if it's just... So that's 19%. Springfield musket, 700 men. It's about the same number of men, considerably fewer, less prestige to get them to 160. It might have to do with chain of command. Because we don't really have bad relations with them, but we don't really have good relations. Commander Terry, 24. Yeah, like I don't even see any kind of logic in terms of the weapons they have in terms of cost. Because this unit, oh, that's expensive. What's the 13th New York doing here? I am not spending 160 prestige, and it could just be like quality of troops too, I guess. Yep, these guys, their first battle, 93. I'm not spending 169 prestige to take a command over. It's kind of, it would be funny to take over our whole brigade. I think it's mostly experience-based. Troops that are fighting in their first battle are cheap. Troops that have fought in a battle or two before, well, those guys are expensive. I don't know. Is there anyone who's not 160? Anyone else? Bastards, I just want to be cheap. I want to be cheap. All right, they're only 96. Can I use these other commands as cannon fodder and just... We did have another regiment that was like 80, remember? Oh, Lockwood. Springfield musket. All right, where are you going? What are your orders? You're part of the Department of Annapolis. You got 700 men. Your troops are confident. Their morale is 63%. Let's spend some prestige and take over command. So you're going to come join our regiment over here. We're going to fight our war. Just stole one of your regiments, Department of Annapolis. I hope you're okay with that. I think we'll leave it to just that one. I don't want to spend that much prestige. That was quite a bit. Meanwhile, while they move into position, let's keep watching this battle on the right flank as it unfolds. So rebel cavalry or rebel artillery is melting. They're going to lose that battery here in just a second. Again, we lost the 2 regiments already, but there's 3 other rebel regiments over here on the right. I would like to think this fight is going to go our way. There goes the battery of artillery. I actually think they've got a better firing line. Well, maybe not. I don't know. It's close. But yeah, our troops are not holding as well. Now, they probably have better fighting spirit because they've won more of the battles and they even took DC. So it's possible they have better fighting spirit. But as long as whoever's in command in here pitches in all the troops they've got on the left here, I can't see the Rebs holding. Remember, in this battle, we also considerably outnumber the Rebs. They've got 16,000 men. We've got 51,000. So this should be a victory. Let's go ahead and get these boys into position. The first Delaware that we took over. And then once they arrive, we'll move the 2nd Wisconsin and 1st Delaware up to support what looks like a forming assault on the railroad cross, or the unfinished railroad cut over here. Right, one of those... Oh, there's the battery of artillery. Some of these troops are not putting up much of a fight. They're routing or pulling back and falling back, and now this firing line is not oh so pretty. Although the Rebs aren't doing great themselves either. They're pulling back, at least some of their troops. Every regiment that you lose and that routes, by the way, also influences the morale of the troops around it. So our right flank is breaking to just these 3 bastard regiments. Oh my god. That is not good. We're steadily moving toward a minor defeat. Have we taken any of the objectives? They're still sitting on all of them. Oh, you guys are around their flank. It would have been nice if you had attacked. Come on, AI, do a better job. I don't even know who's in command of this whole fiasco at the bridge. Alright, 1st Delaware, get your asses up here. Let's go attack the Rebs. Also, why is everybody moving? Like, attack the railroad crossing. Oh, we got a couple troops doing that. Mostly just fighting with enemy skirmishers, but... Okay. Delaware's arrived, so they're on my right. They're winded. Let's give them a minute to catch their breath. Attack appears to be going forward. Right, they're rested, so let's pause. 7 o'clock, we've been going for a bit. Let's move forward. Skirmishers in the wood line here. So a bunch of skirmishers out front of the railroad cut. The railroad cut is going to be difficult to assault. Looks like some of our troops are already in there. All right, so we're going to move the 2nd Wisconsin up here. Let's not do that. Let's do that. Let's move them forward. It does potentially expose our left flank, but I'm just hoping that the enemy is not there by the time my troops arrive. And that we clear these detachments out with the troops that are moving in. The Rebel AI is doing really well in this fight. The Union AI, not so much. Are those both detachments? They are. Guys, you're allowing skirmishers on your flank. Alright. Just go clear these guys out. Support that attack. Okay, boys. Give them hell. Can you not see them? Or are you not engaged? It says you're engaged. I don't know that they are. Let's move forward just a little bit. Or at least they ain't shooting at anything yet. No, they're shooting now. Okay, this might be a few casualties, a little bit of prestige that's free. Alright, we're inflicting some casualties. Looks like we drove those bad boys off. Do I get the prestige for the units I take over as well? Guess we'll find out. Change your fire to long range fire, boys. Looks like I do get credit for casualties inflicted by them. Okay, so we cleared those skirmishers off the flank of the 8th New York and 13th New York. Let's push into this enemy flank here. Maybe we can break their left and swing around on the railroad crossing. We've got troops on our left, so that should be helpful. We don't have very good weapons right now. We're still sporting the 1842 Springfields. I'm a little concerned about the 16th South Carolina on our flank here, but hopefully these New Yorkers move forward a little bit. I know I'm not playing at ×1 speed, but I like to play at a little bit of compression just because things kind of move slowly if you don't. We're going to keep pushing forward here. Oh, shoot, pause. Troops are coming up. Oh, that's just a detachment. These guys are actual troops. So let's see if we're engaged here. We are. Firing a volley. As your regiment is deployed in contact with the enemy, continue your engagement using your own discretion. Break the enemy line and whip him. Okay. Do we have an actual location, or are you just telling me to fight? Meanwhile, on the right flank, this does not look pretty. These rebel regiments are coming up, although apparently they're being flanked by maybe these guys? Oh, our troops in behind them. Where did they come from? We took Sudley Springs. Our troops must have marched up and around up here or somewhere. I don't know where all these regiments came from. But hell yeah. We took that objective. Again, the ticker is getting uncomfortably close to where your army starts retreating. But if the tide starts to turn, that can be undone. Casualties inflicted. Where are you flanked from? You're showing your rear to them, aren't you? No, you're not flanked anymore. Okay. All right, 2nd Wisconsin, you boys are doing good. Push into the woods. Hopefully these troops to the south, although they're all tired, come up to support, because we do have quite a few rebs in front of you. Is this a detachment or a regiment? It's a detachment, so hopefully we drive them off relatively quickly. I gotta get these guys into cover, though. We've kind of inserted ourselves into the middle of a line. These guys are advancing behind us, so... Can you turn trees off? There's a way to do that. I think it would make it easier to follow things. Right, I don't know why you're flanked. You shouldn't be facing that direction. Alright, 1st Delaware. Keep advancing, keep pushing that gap. 16th South Carolina is a little bit of a concern, but 2nd Wisconsin's out ahead. I'd rather the Delaware boys take some of the heat, but the Rebs are pulling back. Got cavalrymen to our left. Oh, these Rebs are coming right at us, huh? Although they're flanked. It would be really nice if we get the prestige. What are you doing? Just turn and... I don't know why sometimes the marching pathing is strange. Like, why would you show your ass to them? Show your front. Never let the enemy see the rear. Your rear. Alright, 2nd Wisconsin is getting passed by the 3rd Michigan here. We are losing a little bit of morale because we're taking some casualties here. How about you just halt and shoot? There you go. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Alright, Delaware boys are in. 2nd Wisconsin's been passed. Morale is dropping, huh? A little bit? Oh no, it's stabilized. Looks like. I don't think I'm taking casualties in that current position. There's friendly troops to my front. Do I not get credit for the Delaware boys' casualties inflicted? I'm not really sure. Oh yeah, I do. Never mind. Alright, the Delaware boys are doing some work for me. Second Wisconsin's taken 29 casualties. Delaware has taken 28. Make a good team, boys. This minor defeat, I think the bar is ticking a little bit back toward our way. The enemy has suffered fewer casualties than us, but a higher percentage. We've also taken one of those objectives up on the upper right. This rebel force up here is kind of in trouble. Looks like they're kind of almost kettled. You got these guys who are routing. They've suffered a quarter casualties. These guys who are routing. They've suffered a quarter casualties. These guys, not quite as bad, but they're heavily outnumbered. So Sudley Springs is ours. We've also got troops coming down the road toward the unfinished railroad here, pushing into the other rebel flank. It's a double envelopment. I think this would not be going nearly as well if we didn't have... am I even still shooting? If we didn't... It doesn't look like we're firing. I don't know how we're firing unless there's an elevation advantage here, because your troops' line of sight definitely does get blocked, but I'm gonna just let them keep doing what they're doing. We're in cover. I don't want to frighten the boys. You know, we've got a little bit of a double envelopment going here. Not quite as much flanking on the southern end as I would like. The only reason this thing's going quite as well as it is again, because we've got 51,000 troops and they've got 16,000 men trying to hold a line that is fairly long, especially when you're outnumbered 4-1. Hopefully, unlike 2nd Manassas, the Rebs don't get up reinforcements. I didn't see any indication that they would get reinforcements, but we'll see. We're just on the line, shooting all along the line here, while federal troops are coming down this flank. Still is a minor defeat, but let's just keep chugging away, boys. Let's keep an eye on that morale. It's actually going up a little bit. Our boys are advancing. We're at the front of the firing line here. Keep the fire going. Maybe routed units nearby. Enemy behind cover. Oh, that's not good for morale. Alright, Delaware boys. So now we are approaching the tougher nut to crack, which is the Rebs in the railroad cut. You can see they've got this green in cover icon, which actually means much better cover for them. Our troops have the yellow in cover, which means less cover, so effectively they're going to take fewer losses, all things being even than we are in green versus yellow. That being said, we do have a considerable number of troops pushing in here. We also have these troops coming down from the north, so hopefully those troops keep pushing in on the unfinished railroad objective. They're kind of not moving as aggressively as I'd like. Lockwood's boys are taking some casualties. My boys are taking some casualties. Our prestige is steadily ticking up. So I think we've already gotten all the prestige back, pretty much, that it costs to buy that regiment. Good decision, I think. As long as our boys don't rout, we don't lose that prestige that a rout would entail. Our morale is now confident. We're maxed out at 61%. 57th Virginia is being routed out of these woods too. Again, we still have some of these regiments on the unfinished railroad cut. We may want to try and, once this regiment is flanked, so let's try and swing these guys over here, and maybe we can flank the troops on the railroad cut. Again, the railroad cut does influence casualties. However, if you've got, you know, 3 regiments firing on one, the enemy can't necessarily respond all that effectively to you, so you may still have an advantage. Again, it's more about 1-to-1 versus ammunition. We're burning through it a bit, down to 24 rounds. Morale's still good. First Delaware is on the flank of the railroad cut. Looks like one of those enemy regiments was pushed back. Come on, boys, advance. You can see that delay between when I issue the order and when they start following them. Boys are still firing. We're down to 23 rounds. Casualties do seem to get inflicted in this game at a much greater rate than ammunition is expended. That makes sense. These enemy troops are pushed off the railroad line up here to the north. We haven't quite taken the unfinished railroad cut, but you can see the victory meter has ticked us into a minor victory situation. Enemy casualties are now 2,300 versus 2,000 for us, and if you look at the percentages there, a very favorable return for us. Enemy's been pushed off of this railroad cut. They're still apparently... No, they're out of it. Alright, so let's get our boys up on the railroad cut then, and maybe they can fire into the enemy positions beyond from very good cover. Looks like one of these cavalry regiments, the U.S. Cavalry Regiment, 1st Brigade, 2nd Division, is advancing. Let's get up here. This division here is still flanking them from the north, but kind of all on its own. We didn't push forward to take the most northern objective. Not sure why these guys are not being as aggressive as I would like to see. This could turn into a major victory if we inflict at least 18% casualties on their force, which it looks like we are. So even though we're not that far off in terms of total casualties, the enemy is gonna probably suffer a major defeat if they don't start, I don't know, changing things up pretty quickly. 2nd Wisconsin, move in. Cohesion's failing. Got good support. Let's move forward. Max morale, 61%. So this should help our fighting spirit if we win a major victory too. The major victory has a bigger impact on the enemy will to fight. All right, this is just a battery of artillery. Just don't take canister fire, boys. Both of my regiments are engaged on this in front here and inflicting heavy losses on the Rebs out here in the open. It's a good decision, I think, to take control of that other regiment. We're up to 97 prestige gained from casualties inflicted. And the Rebs are retreating, boys. We've won a victory. Won a victory. How is that not a major victory yet? Oh, we're just shy of 18%. Hopefully the enemy doesn't withdraw without getting to that amount. Come on, boys. Press the advantage. Get them. Do more. Charge! By the way, you can turn a victory into a defeat if you're overly aggressive. That 100% can happen. Usually the enemy is not going to put up enough of a fight. It looks like we're just going to miss out on a major victory, which I guess in some sense makes sense. It's a relatively small detachment of rebel troops versus 50,000 men. Like, you couldn't expect a major political victory over something quite that skewed. But unless they lose another 0.4%, I suppose if maybe some of their troops flee from the battlefield before the 20 minutes of pursuit is up. Oh, wait, there's a regiment here, boys. Fire at them. There you go. Shoot at them. Get them. Get them, boys. Get them. 17-7. I don't know why the Delaware boys' morale is failing. Friendly routed units nearby? Someone routed. I saw the victory counter go down a bit. I don't know why the other AI units aren't pushing forward, but I am. Build that reputation. Ah. Minor federal victory. We just missed out. Casualties inflicted 104 prestige worth. Combat zone reached 60 prestige, a total of 164 prestige. Glad I didn't buy any of those regiments who had 160 prestige cost. The rebels lost their entire complement of artillery, 20 of 20 guns, 200 of their 2,100 cavalry, and 2,600 of their 14,000 infantry. Total of 3,000 out of 17,000 men were casualties. Federal casualties were 2,200, so we had a nice little gap there with our 51,000 boys, weakening this enemy force, routing many of their units, and if we do have to fight them again on the march to Richmond, they will be less effective, and we should be more effective. We did lose 12 of our 99 guns. We did lose 37 of our 256 cavalry, and 2,200 of our 50,000 infantry. But that's a nice little victory there. Let's see what the post-battle situation is. I think my prestige is probably just whatever it was, 260 something, I think. But a nice little return of investment. We netted out about 70 more prestige than we spent in that battle. I'm assuming, I would like to think we get that prestige back, but I'm guessing we don't. You know, there's only so many times you can cajole someone outside your chain of command to fight with you, right? But maybe my performance would make my fame a little better. We did pretty well, I think. I guess we'll see. A glorious victory at Stone Bridge. You are radical rhetoric. While you are politically active and have a progressive agenda, sometimes other politicians are difficult to persuade to follow your lead. They're usually too cautious or conservative to see the world around them is changing. Unfortunately for you, you are accompanied by a well-known, frantic abolitionist to whom any compromise is out of the question. For this reason, at least for the time being, advancing your agenda in the political circles is difficult. Are we really that radical? Oh, that doesn't look good. Supply alert. I don't think we have enough depots in position here to support an advance of 50,000 men, I guess. Maybe we'll take some of these rebel depots and then it'll change the situation here. All right, the army of the South under Lee just got crushed. It's funny that the army of the Potomac didn't come to their advantage. They had 27,000 more men there. I don't know that that battle would have turned out the way it did. All right, so our prestige is up to 275. Again, I don't know that there's anything I can... My fame, I think, was 0 before. Now it's a half a star, so it like kind of went up. We're working on our education, studying logistics to improve our administrative skill to 4 stars. That'll still be 53 days away. Dear God, I made the wrong choice on that. Should have done something different. Is there... I don't know how you take command of other units. I don't know if I can. Oh, I can. Apply for command. So I could apply for another regimental command. Staff corps will remain at the old unit. Do I lose the unit or do I just get both? Because it doesn't look like I can apply. Oh, I can't apply for... Division. No, these are all regimentals. I can't apply for any brigade commands yet. It doesn't look like. But again, I don't know if I don't want to like do this and lose my current unit. I don't know if I can apply for command of a regiment and have 2 regiments rather than 1. Part of Shank's command here. So maybe we'll just stay put and you guys can let me know in the comments if I can do that or not. Like if I apply for another regiment. I'm assuming since it's not up the chain of command, I don't get 2 regiments. That would be strange. Meanwhile, 2nd Wisconsin, let's take a look at their history. Fought at the Battle of Stone Bridge, suffering 51 casualties and inflicting 67. That's pretty good. Especially when you're using smoothbore muskets as your weapons. Doesn't look like we have enough weaponry in the inventory to upgrade them to anything. You can use prestige or renown to upgrade your weaponry, but right now the arsenals are pretty damn empty at the moment, so can't do anything there. I've fought in 3 battles though, so apparently this unit card does not have me have any fame, and my administration is only 2 stars here, so I don't know the discrepancy, but certainly not warranting a promotion anytime soon, probably. Still only a 51 score in the Grand Tactician Hall of Fame. We have not even come close to surpassing John Fremont. But yeah, let me know if I apply for another regiment. Do I lose my current command? Again, I assume I do. We've got $1,300 at the moment. I can't really upgrade anything. I don't think making any... Maybe the Savage Navy would improve my prestige a little bit. But again, I think I've got to get around to 500 to actually accomplish anything, so... It's weird that you know your weight, but not your height. Cavalry trousers. Does it tell you what you're wearing now? I can't get better pants until division command? That's nonsense. Anyway. I think that's all for me right now. Yeah. So anyway, guys, we've almost an hour. I hope we push on. I hope the army continues to follow up the success at Stone Bridge and push on to the Army of the Potomac. Maybe we can have a little bit of a bigger battle, maybe a better chance at Bull Run, but we'll see. Until next time, though, guys, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching, and until next time. Oh, our readiness is crap. We're probably going to sit around and do nothing. Where's the Army of Occupation? That's 22,000 men. They're in West Virginia under McClellan. Oh, I think it's 4,000 now. Oh, no, 19,000. Anyway, thanks again for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts below. If anybody knows if I apply for another regiment, do I lose the current one? I'm assuming I do. But yeah, until next time, thanks for watching, guys. This is the Historical Gamer saying, I'm out.